Pick up the countdown in 15 seconds. Picking up in 10 seconds.
The countdown clock will resume on my mark. 3, 2, 1, mark.
T-minus 9 minutes and counting.
TLS auto sequence has been initiated.
Ground launch sequencer will be checking over 1,000 parameters between now and when it hands off to Atlantis' onboard computers at T-minus 31 seconds. And from 31 seconds on, Atlantis' onboard computers will be completely in control of the countdown and for main engine start. And it will assess in the last 6.6 seconds whether the engines are up to full thrust.
TLT, OTC, connect essential buses to fuel cells per your checklist.
TLT and work. OTC, TLT, that's complete.
Copy.
In about 20 seconds, we'll be retracting the crew orbiter access arm.
TLS is go for orbital access arm retract.
Atlantis, this is OTC. This day has been over 30 years in the making. There have been many fabulous missions throughout the years. On behalf of ASV launch teams, past and present, we salute the entire astronaut corps for their dedication, not only for our expanded knowledge of the universe, but for the improvements you have contributed to on Earth. Have an excellent mission and Godspeed.
OTC, TLT. Fantastic words, Roberta. Thank you very much.
Great prospect.
Great to your team. Thank you, sir.
Yes, OTC. Start APU display recorders.
The RPS recorders are running.
TLT, OTC, perform APU pre-start.
Pre-start work. OTC, TLT, 3 grade prospect.
Copy, 3 grade prospect.
Coming up on T-minus 5 minutes in 3, 2, 1, T-minus 5 minutes and counting.
Orbiter APU start.
TLT, OTC, perform APU start.
Head on.
CDR, OTC, reconfigure heaters.
That's in work.
Solid rocket booster safe and arm devices are now being armed.
OTC, TLT, 3 good APUs.
Copy, 3 good APUs.
Coming up on T-minus 5 minutes in 3, 2, 1, T-minus 5 minutes and counting.
Orbiter APU start.
TLT, OTC, perform APU start.
Head on.
CDR, OTC, reconfigure heaters.
Next milestone is a check of the orbiter's flight controls. Solid rocket booster safe and arm devices are now being armed. Next milestone is a check of the orbiter's flight controls.
TLS is go for purge sequence.
And there will be a steering check of Atlantis' 3 main engines. Next milestone is a check of the orbiter's flight controls. find now that the main engines are in their start position.
TLS is go for ET, LO2 pressurization.
Starting now the retraction of the gaseous oxygen vent arm, vent hood. We're finding out that the main engines are in their start position.
TLT OTC, clear caution warning memory, verify no unexpected errors.
Fuel cells going to internal. External tank camera being activated at this time. Retraction of the gaseous oxygen vent arm, vent hood.
OTC, PLT, no unexpected errors.
After that. TLT OTC, clear caution warning memory, verify Flight no crew OTC, close and lock your visors and initiate O2 flow.
Fuel cells going to internal. External tank camera T-minus 2 minutes time.
TLS is go for ET, LH2 pressurization.
No unexpected errors.
After that.
Solid rocket booster camera is being activated.
Flight crew OTC, close and lock your visors and initiate O2 flow.
T-minus.
LH2 pressurization.
Solid rocket booster camera is being activated. Sound suppression water system is being armed. T-minus. T-minus 1 minute. But oxygen and liquid hydrogen fill and drain valves are closed. T-minus 40 seconds, handing off to Atlantis' computers at T-minus 31. T-minus 1 minute. T-minus 35, 33,
Clock will hold at T-minus 31 seconds due to a failure.
and we have had a failure. Ground lock sequencer.
Big box retract switches. NNTDSP, go ahead. Yes, sir, we need
4
have to go
seconds,
do
handing off
the
to Atlantis'
verification
computers
for the LCC,
at
please.
T-minus 31.
All right, C-Max.
T-minus 35,
Yes, C-Max, the
33.
LCC says we need to verify using a camera, and we're positioning camera
and we
62
have
right
had a
now.
failure.
Okay, let us know as soon as 62 is swung over and you can verify LCC for GVA retract, please. NNTDSP, go ahead. Yes, sir, we need
And all personnel, we're holding here 31 seconds while we get a verification that the GVA, all right, C-Max, has fully retracted.
Yes, C-Max, the LCC says we need to verify
For our
using a
pre-flight.
camera, and we're positioning the camera. This is C-Max, we verify retracted.
as soon as 62 is swung over and you can verify LCC for
Okay,
GVA
and you can verify that it is fully retracted per the instructions that were being, that we developed, correct?
That's correct.
And all right, and SPE?
And NTD, SPE concurs, they satisfied the requirements of GSC 13 pre-prime contingency. I'm go.
Okay, I copy. And launch director. Yes, sir, I heard all that. Concur. Press on. All right, very good.
This is C-Max, we
NTDSP.
verify
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, I need concurrence to GLS, the mass to clear the hold, please.
Okay, and you can verify that it is fully retracted
GLS,
per the
you have
the
concurrence,
instructions
Bill?
that were being
Copy that, it's at work.
correct? Thank you.
That's
Let us
correct.
know when that's complete. All right, and SPE?
And NTD, SPE concurs, they satisfied the requirements of GSC 13 pre-prime contingency. I'm go.
Okay.
NTD, we have it at work?
Yes, sir, I heard all that. Concur. Press on.
All right,
very
guidance.
NTD, SPE.
good. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, I need concurrence to GLS, the mass to clear the hold, please.
Very good. And GLS? You have
Just a reminder for folks, our last turn back hold time is 3 minutes and 16 seconds.
Please.
NTD, CTLS on 212, we're ready to go. NTD, we have it in work?
All right, very good. And launch director, with that cleanup, we're going to go ahead and proceed.
All right, guys.
Yes, sir, please do. All right, and all personnel, we are going to pick up the clock here momentarily. And GLS, you can resume the clock on your mark.
Copy that. Countdown clock will resume on my mark.
For folks, our last
3,
hold time is 3
2,
minutes and 16 seconds.
1, mark.
T-minus
for auto sequence start.
And off to Atlantis' computers has occurred. Solid rocket booster nozzle steering check and work.
20, yes sir, please do. All right, and all personnel.
Firing chain is armed.
Momentarily. And GLS, you can get in the clock on your mark.
Copy that.
Go for main engine start. T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. All three engines up and burning. 2, 1, 0, and liftoff. The final liftoff of Atlantis on the shoulders of the space shuttle. America will continue the dream.
Roger roll, Atlantis. Houston now controlling the flight of Atlantis. The space shuttle spreads its wings one final time for the start of a sentimental journey into history. 24 seconds into the flight, roll program complete. Atlantis now heads down, wings level on the proper alignment for its 8.5-minute ride to orbit. 4.5 million pounds of hardware and humans taking aim on the International Space Station. 40 seconds into the flight, the 3 liquid fuel main engines throttling back to 72% of rated performance in the bucket, reducing stress on the shuttle as it goes transonic for the final time. 24 seconds into the flight, roll program complete. Atlantis now engines now revving up, standing by for the throttle up call. 4.5 million pounds of hardware and humans taking aim on the International Space Station. 40 seconds into the flight, the 3 liquid fuel main engines throttling back to 72% of rated performance in the bucket, reducing stress on the shuttle as it goes transonic for the final time.
No action, DPDT.
Engines now revving up, standing by for the throttle up call. That call from Capcom Barry Wilmore, a transducer, instrumentation only, no action required. Atlantis now 15 miles in altitude, already 16 miles downrange from the Kennedy Space Center, 1 minute 40 seconds into the flight. Atlantis flexing its muscles one final time. That call from Capcom Barry Wilmore. Atlantis traveling almost 2,600 miles an hour, 21 miles in altitude, 24 miles downrange, standing by for solid rocket booster separation. Atlantis now 15 miles in altitude, already 16 miles downrange from the Kennedy Space Center, 1 minute 40 seconds into the flight. Atlantis flexing its muscles one final time. Booster officer confirms staging a good solid rocket booster separation. Guidance now converging. The main engine steering the shuttle on a pinpoint path to its preliminary orbit. 2 minutes 20 seconds into the flight. Atlantis already traveling 3,200 miles an hour, 35 miles in altitude, 50 miles downrange. The propulsion officer reports the orbital maneuvering system engines have ignited. Atlantis kicking on its afterburners for 1 minute 23 seconds for the final phase of powered flight. Guidance now converging. The main engine steering the shuttle on a pinpoint path to its preliminary orbit. 2 minutes 20 seconds into the flight. Atlantis already traveling 3,200 miles an hour, 35 miles in altitude, 50 miles downrange. The propulsion officer reports the orbital maneuvering system engines have ignited. Atlantis kicking on its afterburners for 1 minute 23 seconds for the final phase of powered flight.
Atlantis, 2-engine TOW.
However, Atlantis' 3 engines performing perfectly. 4 minutes 20 seconds into the flight. Atlantis currently traveling 5,500 miles an hour, 62 miles in altitude, almost 200 miles downrange. 4 minutes of powered flight remaining. However, Atlantis' 3 engines performing perfectly. Atlantis speeding straight as an arrow toward its date with the International Space Station Sunday morning. 20 seconds into the flight. Atlantis currently traveling 5,500 miles an hour, 62 coming up on the 5-minute mark, 200 miles downrange. 4 minutes of Atlantis now traveling remaining. 6,500 miles an hour, 66 miles in altitude, 250 miles downrange. The International Space Station Sunday morning.
Atlantis, press to ATO.
Press to ATO.
That call indicating we can make minimal orbital targets. In the event of an engine failure, all 3 engines continue to function normally. Atlantis will begin its slow roll to a heads-up position shortly. 6,500 miles an hour, 66 miles in altitude, 250 miles downrange. 5.5 minutes into the flight. Atlantis traveling 7,700 miles an hour, 315 miles downrange. That call indicating we can make minimal
Atlantis,
orbital targets in the event of an engine failure. All 3 engines continue to function normally. Atlantis will begin its slow roll to a heads-up position shortly. Five and a half minutes. And the guidance officer here in Mission Control confirms that the computers are commanding the main engines to swivel.
Zaragoza, 104. Atlantis, single engine, ops 3.
Zaragoza, 104.
We've rolled to a heads-up position now, providing better communications to the tracking and data relay satellite system as Atlantis heads uphill. 6 minutes, 20 seconds into the flight. And the guidance officer here in Mission Control confirms that the computers are commanding
Atlantis,
the main engines to swivel.
Zaragoza, 104.
Press to MECO.
That call indicates that we can make our normal orbital cutoff targets in the event of an engine failure. However, all 3 main engines continue to function normally.
Nominal. Fergie, go the plus X, go the pitch.
20 seconds into the flight.
Nominal shutdown plan. Go for the plus X, go for the pitch.
Atlantis, press to MECO.
That call indicating that we will be in good shape for the orientation of Atlantis for external tank photography following main engine cutoff. Now 7 minutes into the flight. Function normally.
Nominal. Fergie, go the plus X, go the pitch.
1 minute, 20 seconds till main engine cutoff. Atlantis traveling 12,000 miles an hour. That call indicating that we will be in good shape. The main engines will soon be throttling down once again to limit the stress on the shuttle and its 4 crew members to that of 3 times the effective gravity. Atlantis currently traveling at a speed of more than 4 miles a second. 1 minute, 20 seconds. 1 minute of powered flight remaining for Atlantis. 12,000 miles an hour. The main engines will soon be throttling down once 3 good main engines, 3 good auxiliary power units, 3 good fuel cells. Gravity. Atlantis approaching the 8-minute mark into the flight. Miles a second. Atlantis now traveling more than 15,000 miles an hour for Atlantis. Three good main engines. 3 good auxiliary power units. 8 minutes, 15 seconds into the flight, standing by for main engine cutoff. Mark into the flight. That'll be followed a few seconds later by the separation of the external fuel tank. Atlantis now traveling more than 15,000 miles an hour. Booster officer confirms main engine cutoff. For the last time, the Space Shuttle's main engines have fallen silent as the shuttle slips into the final chapter of a storied 30-year adventure. Standing by for main engine cutoff. Now standing by for external tank separation. Seconds later by the separation of the external fuel tank. Booster officer Atlantis off the tank. Cutoff. Commander Chris Ferguson will be maneuvering Atlantis now into an orientation to enable Sandy Mags to capture digital still imagery of the external fuel tank as it drifts away.
OHMS 1 is not required. Your preliminary OHMS 2 TIG, 37 minutes.
37 minutes, no ohms 1 required, thanks.
Atlantis off the tank. Commander Chris Ferguson will be maneuvering Atlantis now into an orientation to enable Sandy Magnus to capture digital still imagery of the external fuel tank as it drifts away.
So ohms 1 is not required. Your preliminary ohms 2 TIG, 37 minutes.
37 minutes, no ohms 1 required, thanks.